Hello, my name is Duncan Alderdice, and the reason I'm making these videos is to document the journey I take as I become who I am. I met a friend the other day, well actually two, and by the other day I mean last week. I'll tell you the story because they sent me a message, and it sent me a message that made me feel good inside. And now here's the story of of that. So it was last week on Tuesday or Monday or both, whichever day comes before New Year's Eve, the day before that and the day before that one, those 2 days. And I was out on the town on an adventure, exploring the world, Montreal. And I came across two people. Well, I was just talking to strangers, as I do, having a cool fun time. And part of that then meant there were two guys who were from New York State, somewhere in New York State. And we had a conversation. And then that conversation happened. And then we went somewhere else. And then we were on an adventure. And it was cool. And it was fun. And then they invited me out the next night. And that was cool. And then I met them somewhere. And then we went to a place. And we had talked about like everything. Like, what are you doing with life? Politics. Girls. The future, AI, cool fun time. And like talk with other strangers. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then they left to go back to New York. And so I sent them both a message. Zach and Corey, those are their names. Which I think are the names of the older brothers in Being Ian. No, that's Kyle and Corey. Kyle Kelly, Corey Kelly, Ian Kelly. Being Ian, anything is possible. But one of them sent me a message, Corey specifically. Here's what it was. It made me feel so good inside. He says, Duncan, you gave me hope for humanity that so easily people can see past geographic and national identities and simply enjoy each other's company for who that individual is. You're an excellent purveyor for what Canada has to offer. I couldn't say that for the majority of my own countrymen. I hope you the best in 2026, and I hope that we cross paths again because that trip now makes me want to travel more of Canada and revisit Montreal again. Bracket, hopefully in the summer. Bracket. Till next time, Monsieur Duncan. It made me feel so good. Because, number one, I made an impression on a person, but I made someone else think that about another person. Now, it also takes a type of person to write a message like that, so I'm not going to take that away, but it also takes a type of person to have a type of person who writes a message like that to write a message like that about them, a person. I could have figured that out earlier, but I'm not going to. But I think it just shows... I think that's just going like fucking yes. Like I made a good impression. That's the kind of person that I am. Like when I talk to strangers, and then that's how I come across. So then it was cool. Like just to see, because like I was not like it wasn't just like we were hanging out and I was only talking with them. Like I just talked to everyone, and I think that I mean, well, yeah. Also, like there was like we only went to a few places. Like there were key places that we missed because it was the beginning of the week. Like it's like nothing's open. But so that was that. I haven't replied to the message, but I am going to reply to the message. I have been procrastinating replying to the message because I want to reply to the message with a meaningful message. But I think I'm going to send a voice message because it will be easier for me to write a meaningful message by just articulating it than thinking about writing it and then not writing it because I'm thinking about what I should write. And then that just, you get the gist. Other things that I learned today are that vitamin A is something that you need with a daily recommended intake, but not that it's not a requirement, but you should aim on average with like, that's a whole thing in and of itself. But vitamin A is fat soluble rather than water soluble. So you know vitamin C because they're in oranges. Vitamin C, you wake up, like every 24 hours you need to get aim to get 100 milligrams or micrograms. 100, it might be milligrams. If you do an excess of that, like 150, that's okay. But if you get like 400%, like most of that, your body's gonna flush out. Your kidney's gonna filter it out, pee, flush, gone. Then you reset. However, fat soluble things will be stored in the liver or other bodily tissues like cells. They'll be stored somewhere, and so it accumulates. So if day one you get all the stuff that you need, day two you don't need to necessarily get the same amount because you still have stuff left over. Carrots are generally the thing that people get. I mean, like 100 grams of carrot, you'll get the 900 micrograms of vitamin A you need per day. But if you only get like 400 to 500 of what you need each day, like you're not going to die because the half-life it has in your body, it stores in the liver and somewhere else. The half-life is from like several weeks to months. So that's like so much time. And if anything, because I was thinking, should you supplement vitamin A? And the answer to that is a resounding no. You do not want to do that. No. That's the answer. Because it's actually more dangerous to get an excess of vitamin A, and there's more toxicity instead of a deficiency of that. And it really takes a long time to develop a deficiency of vitamin A. So don't supplement it because it's a very concentrated form. Now, that said, if you get an excess of the 900 by eating foods, that's not bad because you're also absorbing other things. It's specifically the vitamin concentration, but not just carrots. So if you have one tomato, that's about 50 micrograms. So 2 tomatoes, that's 10% done right there. Okay. 1 kale leaf, just make it 2 kale leaves. There's another 80 micrograms. Bang, we're already at 20%. You have a small bowl, about 100 to 150 grams of like spinach, or not spinach, like leafy greens, but more specifically, not iceberg and that shit, but like lettuce, red leaf lettuce, bang, that right there, probably another 20, 25%, 50, like 400. Just hit it. Also, bell peppers, you got red bell peppers, those have the most. That's around like 170, like these are rough numbers, but it's accurate. And then orange bell peppers also have good vitamin A-ness. If you have 2 of those and the other things that I said, like, you're off to the races. If you just add a bell pepper and a tomato and some lettuce to your diet today, and you'll walk away an incredibly healthy human being. Green and yellow, they have the least amount, though yellow's good on vitamin C. Green is really unripe, so it has the least amount of macro or micronutrients of all the bell peppers. However, the health benefits of having 2 green bell peppers compared to 0 is so much better and vastly a larger improvement than comparing 2 green bell peppers to 2 red bell peppers. Although quantitatively speaking, there's a larger gap between the green and the red. But health benefit wise, it's like, well, it's better to have a little bit of something than 0. Anything's better than 0. Anything is possible. I'm also eating rotini noodles covered in olive oil, which is also really good for you. Part of the Mediterranean diet. They normally only recommend 1 tablespoon because of the calories. And you can mock 4 tablespoons a day, like good. It's not going to clog your arteries because it's liquid at temperature in my bag for time. I'm so fucking far over. Anyways, one I need to finish the thought is you can have more, but normally they don't recommend it because it's like if you're replacing the current fats with that fat, that's a good thing. But if you're just adding that passively and not changing anything else, then it's just hidden calories you're not going to see. Clementine Club, thanks for sticking around as always. And I don't need to tell you, but I know you already know, but I'll tell you. I know you already know, but I'll tell you again. That desire is what drives you forward. The pain you're going through is necessary. That's why you need to believe in yourself, because you're more capable of doing great things than you give yourself credit. Lean in, aim up, and move forward. Yes, you can. Sorry, Mark. And for those of you who don't know, Mark is my sales manager, who used to be my sales manager and now is an account executive for a company I used to work for. Okay, bye.